सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
The Upanishadic Rishi prays thus that may we, the teacher and the student, be protected together. Sahana avatu. Sahana bhunaktu. May we enjoy this process of learning and teaching together. Sahaviryam karvavahai. May we exert ourselves to learn and teach together. Tejasvinam adhitamastu. And the effulgence of knowledge that emanates from this learning and teaching process, may it remain in our memory forever. Ma vidvishavahai. And in this process of teaching and learning, may we not be the cause of hostility to each other. And with that they pray there be peace in the body and the mind and the spirit, and may we begin the journey of learning and teaching now. So that is the meaning of the first Shanti mantra which was just chanted, which is very relevant and very significant, especially when it comes to learning and teaching. So with that we go back to the great Ashtavakra Gita. As I mentioned yesterday, that if all the Upanishads are considered as a cow, and then Ashtavakra is the cow herd who milches the cow, then Janaka is the great calf that is drinking this milk, and the milk itself is the Gita, which is Ashtavakra Gita. I borrowed it from the idea from Bhagavad Gita, where Sri Krishna and Arjuna are the teacher and the learner. And here it is Ashtavakra and Janaka. The difference is Sri Krishna and Arjuna are of the same age almost, just a year apart. Whereas Ashtavakra is a very young boy, 12 or 13 years old. And Janaka is an old king, like a grandfatherly figure. Yet the humility of Janaka, that is the first hallmark of a student. If you think you already know everything, there is nothing to be taught to you, then you learn nothing. You come with humility. And the humility of Janaka is that he sits at the feet of Ashtavakra and seeks wisdom from that young Jnani, the young wise man. So wisdom can come from anywhere. Wisdom is not some thing that depends on age of people. It can come from anywhere. A lot of time I learn from our students a lot of things. For instance, when we were building the Gulbarga hall, prayer hall, that time I was very involved in construction because we didn't have this kind of a big team. We were everything. So I would be going around looking at all the construction drawings. And it so happened that I thought, why not take feedback from the students what else they require, because they are the end users. So I asked some of the students who were managing the AV console, the audio, video and other mics. When I asked them, what is that you want? They said, please put the switchboards a little lower because we sit on the floor. And so it's easy for us to plug in and plug out. If it is high up there, then we have to get up every time. It disturbs the proceedings. That was the wisdom from a child. Similarly, the latches have to be at the height of the children. Regular latches won't work. So little things that we learn when we talk to the children, what they wanted. And that is how things get improved. So learning never stops. And I keep telling, and I told in the CSR conclave also, we are a learning organization. We never stop learning in life. As it is said, the one who graduates today and stops learning tomorrow becomes uneducated the day after. Especially in the world of today where knowledge is so quickly transforming itself from one form to the other, everyone must learn. But the highest learning that one can have in this world is that of spiritual knowledge. Adhyatma Vidya Vidyanam, says Sri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. Of all the kinds of knowledge, I am the spiritual knowledge. Not that I am not in the science and maths and medicine and arts. He is in all. But of all the things, if you want to compare, if all are other gods, then who would Sri Krishna be, the supreme God? It would be the spiritual knowledge. That is the comparative way of saying that if you learn everything and you don't learn spiritual knowledge, then you have learned nothing. And this idea of spiritual knowledge is central to our educational system. While you learn everything else, it should be built around this core of our spiritual learning. If you have learned all the subjects and not learned this, there is no point. There is no point in being in these institutions. You can be studying any other institutions. They also are free. Many government institutions might be free. But the core of our education system is that the students and staff and everybody who is involved learns the spiritual knowledge. So that should not be lost. So Janaka is a very wise man. For years and years he has conducted yajna yagas. He was known as the most generous king of those times and very wise. He had gathered thousands of wise sages in his ashram, that is in his palace ashram, and then he was making them have debates and discussions on various topics. So Ashtavakra, who happens to be a young boy, as you heard yesterday, a little introduction to what happens. So he comes to also participate in the debate to avenge his father's death. And when he debates with Vandin and defeats him, that's when Janaka realizes what Ashtavakra is about. He's so wise. And when he enters the court, I believe everybody laughs at him and say, what is this bent bodied boy can tell us all the wise sages? And he immediately laughs and says, oh, I thought I have entered the court of wise men. I did not think that I have entered the court of cobblers. Everybody is surprised. And he says, yes, because you only judge me by my skin. You can at best be a cobbler, a shoemaker, somebody who deals in skin, not in wisdom. And he shuts them all up. Janaka receives Ashtavakra with great honor, puts him on his throne, and sits down, as our Upanishad says. Tvayasanina prashvasitavyam. When they come, you put an asana for them, make them comfortable, and then sit down at their feet and learn. That's a way to say knowledge flows from para to apara, from the higher to the lower. It's an understanding. It is a way of representation of a guru shishya and of a parampara, that from higher to lower it flows. So with that, Ashtavakra Samhita is one of the greatest treatise on Advaita Vedanta. The Advaita means no two, there is only one. That knowledge is explained and espoused so very brilliantly in the entire text. So we have gone through the introductory chapters. Yesterday we got through the revisions of all the previous 17 and 18th chapters, half of it which went into the fourth volume. This is the fifth volume, the new one. And we start on page number 7 with the first shloka, which goes, Akritritvam abhoktritvam swatmano manyate yada tada kshina bhavantyeva samastaschitta vrittayaha. Very opening shloka of this book is the essence of Ashtavakra. I keep saying no doership, no enjoyership. It begins with that. Akartritvam means non-doership. Abhoktritvam, non-enjoyership. Swa atmano manyate yada. When one realizes the self is not the doer, not the enjoyer of things, manyate, when he understands yada, when tada kshina bhavantyeva, then kshina weakens this idea that I am the doer and enjoyer and the bondage that comes with it. And what else happens? Samasta chitta vrittaya, all the vagaries of the mind disappear. How clearly is stated that only when you are truly established in the idea that self is neither the doer nor the enjoyer, can the vagaries of the mind, the positives and the negatives, both disappear and mind attains absolute peace and steadiness. One may think we are born to do good. I keep saying paropakarartham idam shariram, you are born to do good. So doing good, is it not a part of our spiritual progress? Yes, it is. But there are initial stages when we think we are here to do good. We are not here to do bad. That also is a lower stage of understanding in the spiritual knowledge. That is why if you go to Bhagavad Gita, you'll get karma yoga, this yoga, that yoga. Ashtavakra doesn't even talk about it. He says there is nothing called you are doing and you are enjoying. Because the self is unchanged in all circumstances. See, when you do something good, what happens? How do you feel within? You feel good. When you do bad, what do you feel within? You feel bad, you feel guilty. So both are not the self, because the self is unchanged. Nirvikaraha is the word used. There is no vikara in it. So any thought, like the thought in the mind, whether positive or negative, it disturbs the very purest state of the self. And that is why it cannot be self. See, anything that is two cannot be the self. It has to be one and always one. So I am always sad. So am I the self? No. Because sadness is also vikara from the purest state of no disturbance to the self. Now it is very difficult for some of them who have new joiners who might not have gone through these texts before. So you have to go and do the catch up after you go back, and hopefully some of your friends can help you with these concepts. But the idea is that consciousness, which is actually the real doer. For example, just to clarify to the young kids who have joined newly, there are bulbs here and there is a fan that is running, there is a mic that is functional, there are lights on top of me, and then chandeliers and everything else that is working over here. Now, light is different from the fan, is different from the mic. But if you look at it, what is that which makes all these three run? Electricity. Is electricity there in all these things? It is there. Fan is working because electricity, light is working because electricity, and mic is working. But three of them are producing different results. The bulbs produce the light, fan produces the wind, and the mic produces the sound. So all of them are doing different functions using the same original power of electricity. So can I say electricity has become the light, become the breeze, become the amplified sound? In a way, yes. But has electricity changed its property by becoming breeze, by becoming light, or by becoming sound? No. When it passes through an instrument called mic, it gets converted as sound. Because the power of electricity, the mic is able to become an instrument to amplify my voice. So also the fan, and so also the light. So electricity in its purest form is neither the sound, nor the light, nor the fan's wind. It is simply electricity, it is a power. Likewise, consciousness is the power which animates us all. Men, women, old, young, literate, illiterate, good, bad, saint, criminals, everybody is actually powered by the same one consciousness. That is the idea of our Upanishadic thought, which is only found in Vedanta, in our Upanishad. It's not found, this idea itself is not found in any scripture of the world, anywhere. It's only in the Vedanta, this idea of one consciousness that permeates and pervades all existence is found. It's very, very unique to us. Therefore, you have to pay a lot of attention to this. And not just that, it is there in the plants also. You say yes, because plants grow, so is electricity in the plants? No, I mean to say consciousness is there in the plant. Consciousness is the idea of awareness. You know, I am a boy. How do you know you are a boy? By being a boy. How do you know you're a girl? By being a girl. This awareness that I'm a boy or I'm a girl, that ability to be aware of it is the consciousness. So that idea you'll have to deliberate and dwell over it in your own study circles. Those who are new don't understand it. I have elaborately explained this in earlier sessions, including Master the Mind series. So please go back to all that. But for now, remember that beyond all that which is seen and experienced, there is an experiencer. The ultimate experiencer is that consciousness. But does it become hot because it is passing through the bulbs? Does it become cool because it is passing through the fan? No. Electricity is not becoming hot and cold. The results produced by engaging with the bulb or fan is hot or cold. Electricity by itself does not change. That is the idea of consciousness. So is the electricity real doer and enjoyer of the things? No. But are things being done because of electricity? Yes. So even though electricity is the reason for all these working, electricity per se is not directly the doer of anything. When it engages with the instrument, then it produces result. Likewise, the consciousness which we all have that engages with our mind, good mind or a bad mind, a creative mind or a dull mind, a positive mind or a negative mind. And then accordingly the results are produced, a positive action or a negative action, a good action or a bad action. So this is how consciousness works, just like electricity works. This much if you sit and cut through it, I'm sure you'll get some understanding of it. So he says that at that level of consciousness, there is no doership and enjoyership. It is just what it is. It is that electricity which is neither heat nor cold, neither sound nor light. It is a power, it is a flow of electrons, and whatever is produced is called electricity. It doesn't change. Because at this point in time, the electrons which are there in this, or whatever the running of electrons is happening, next moment they have gone to the fan, and the next moment they have gone to the light, because it's a circuit that is continuously flowing. If the flow of electrons stops, the electricity won't be happening. So that is the idea. So you cannot have an individual electricity. Can fans say my electricity is mine, you don't touch my electricity? No, it's all connected to the same wire circuit. The electrons are flowing continuously across this whole system, through every bulb, every light, every fan, every mic, every camera, everything, the TVs. There is no one separate electricity. So this is the concept that Jivatma, Paramatma. See, the lower idea of separation is Jivatma and Paramatma, where we say my consciousness is unique to me. I have a body which is like the mic. I have the mind which is like the software or the chip or whatever electronics which runs the mic, and then I have this electricity which is my consciousness. That is the idea. You cannot, so the mic can say, yes, I have a separate body, which is called the mic. I have a separate chip system, electronics, which is my own, which is for amplification, which is different from the fan and the TV and the bulb that we all know. But the electricity that I'm using to make this sound amplified is my personal electricity, and not, you cannot touch it. That's not possible, because it's all wired. Even though you will say, no, no, your mic is not wired. Some of them are there like that, kutarkis. Bad logic. What I mean is that this has a battery, right? That battery was charged by some electricity some point in time. So it is the same electricity that way is flowing. If it's a wired mic, the example is far better. So that way everything is connected. Similarly, you may be a boy, she may be a girl, that is a lady, this is a man, old, young. But all of us subtly are connected wirelessly like this mic through consciousness. This consciousness flows through this space. The entire space is filled with consciousness. That is our idea of scriptures, that there is no place where this consciousness is not there. Where electricity has limitations, it goes through the wires. But there was a great scientist by name Tesla, Nikola Tesla. He was trying to build a tower called Tesla Tower, which will simply disseminate electricity without wires. It will go through the whatever, the stratosphere, ionosphere, and reach the other end of the thing, another receiver. Like today phones are there, without wire you can pass the signals. So audio and video signals are passing. They are basically electronic signals only. But he wanted to create a world where there is no need of wired electricity. It can move across through the ions in the atmosphere, and those charged particles can convey the electricity from one place to the other. And today it's all happening. Internet happens like that. Earlier we were wired internet connectivity, we had cables. Now we don't need one. Whatever the receivers, the antenna receives from one to the other, towers are there, and it passes through the atmosphere. So internet is there in the air right now or not is my question. The internet is there in the air. Only thing, I'm not able to capture it because I need a device to use that internet and see the results. Likewise, this consciousness is just all permeating, all pervading like an internet. But you need a device to experience the consciousness, which is this body and the mind. Through body and the mind, we experience the consciousness. So that is the basic idea. Again, as I said, this is all very basics of Vedantic philosophy. But what we are dealing with it, the one who lives in that state of consciousness, he has a body, he has a mind, but he always identifies himself with that non-doer, non-enjoyer consciousness. For such a person, whatever happens through the body or through the mind does not cause disturbance. So we are so disturbed, right? If somebody says, you are looking good today, we are excited. Somebody says, what are you wearing? What kind of haircut? How bad you look today? We are depressed. Especially this new generation, they are so always seeking validation for everything. Is my dress good? Is my Instagram reels, likes? Name it. Billions of dollars of grooming industry for men and women both. Body is their identity. Everybody says your body is fat, old. They get very upset. Similarly, it's mind. Mind is another. Oh, you are so intelligent. Oh, you are a dumb fellow. You are so brilliant. You are so articulate. You cannot even speak a word. So when people say things, we get very disturbed by all these things, or we get very happy. The consciousness is that which does not become either happy or sad. It remains steady. But you will say all the time I'm either happy or sad. I'm never steady. Only when I'm in deep sleep that I'm steady, where I don't realize. But what's the use of knowing being in deep sleep? Because in that you anyway don't realize that you are that consciousness. You have forgotten that in the deep sleep. So the idea is that it is like deep sleep, but you are awake. That is the idea of the Jnani who lives in the consciousness. He is awake and aware. Yet he is like as if in deep sleep, the body and the mind don't matter to such a jnani. So that kind of state is also achievable, is what our sages said. Now, why should we achieve that stage? What does it do to us? How does it help? It says, samasta chitta vrittayaha kshina bhavanti. All our vagaries of the mind, one day we are happy, one day we are sad, one day we are excited, when we are depressed. This goes on and on and on. How long? It says you can get rid of this because all these ideas will fade away into silence, into steadiness. You will say, no, but I like it this way. I like being happy some days. I like being sad some days. Yeah, be so. In the initial days, they like it. But how long? After certain years, you will get fed up. Ask these on the chairs and gray hairs and no hairs. They're fed up. That's why they're sitting in the ashram. You are sitting because you are getting an education. They are sitting because they don't know how to get out of this one day happy, one day sad business. And they have done this for decades. And now they're done, fed up with that. Now they want a solution to this. This is the solution, to stay in the state of consciousness and see everything from that point of view. But is it possible to stay in the state of consciousness? That's why I taught Dirghadrishya Viveka. What you see versus who is seeing it. You see a mic, but you realize your eyes are seeing the mic. But even if your eyes are closed, you are seeing the mic in your mind, right? Not directly but indirectly. So who is actually the seer? They say mind sees through the eyes. Now eyes become the seen, mind becomes the seer. Then you realize beyond the mind also you are aware that mind exists, which is seeing through the eyes, the presence of the mic. So who is that which is seeing the mind? That is what is consciousness is called. And who is seeing the consciousness? Nobody. It knows itself, like sun shines in its own light. How do you see sun? In sun's light only. Sun does not need another sun to show itself. It is self-effulgent. Svaprakasha is the name of Atman or consciousness. So it is self-aware. When you withdraw from the outside to the inside, like from the object, like the seen, to the eyes, which is the seer, then eyes become the seen, mind becomes the seer, then mind becomes the seen, consciousness becomes the seer, and you establish yourself consciousness. You realize everybody has the same consciousness. Everybody is running on the same electricity. Suddenly you feel oneness of things. Suddenly there is peace. Suddenly there is unity. Suddenly there is harmony. Because you realize we are all made of the same things. We are simply fighting because of external differences. Differences in our bodies and mind. So this is the Vedanta is the only way of solving the problems of the world, which is so divided on so many narrow ideas. So Vedanta is a great practical subject. It is not some theory that is no use to you. For individual it is useful, for the society it is useful, for nations it is useful, for the world also it is useful. So what happens? Why are we not able to do this? Why these chitta vritti, mind's vagaries keep going on and all? Because we are not able to establish in the state of consciousness. I also want to introduce a concept called samskara vritti. Somebody wrote to me yesterday, I have done all the good, I keep practicing, still I end up doing sometimes bad things. Why do that happen? Why does that happen? Why these sudden slips once in a while? How can I overcome that? I said, these are your samskaras that have come from many lifetimes. See, the other thing about Vedanta is we have many, many lifetimes. All religions that have started from India believe in several lifetimes. Unlike Abrahamic religion, which do not believe in several lifetimes. But we believe in it. So we believe that we bring our habits from previous lives also. For example, many kids, they are born and they're pianists, born orators, born singers, born dancers. 3-year-old, great musician. Now, who taught them in 3 years all this music? Nobody. They brought this from another lifetime. So our good and bad that we are, they're brought from other lifetimes. That's why when small children were there, when we do this annaprashna or when we serve food for the first time, or there is a ceremony where they put all the different items in front of the baby. The toddler crawls on his foot to those things. There is playing with some toys, there is money, there are books and things like that. And the baby crawls to that. And on its own it goes and instinctively picks it up. Nobody taught the baby. Then based on that they decide, this baby is very interested in studies, wants books. This baby is interested in playing. This baby is interested in money. This baby is interested in music. So like that they used to spread. And with that they used to decide, kind of get a hint of where this baby's future is going to be like. So that's how they used to do in the earlier times. Now I don't know, anything you put, it will go and pick the mobile phone only, I know. That doesn't mean that the baby interested in mobile phone. It is very attractive. Something moving, something flashing. So it gets distracted from all the things, goes and picks that up. That's a different matter. But that's not the way to decide, oh, so this baby needs mobile phone all the time. No, that's not, don't even put there, okay, these mobile phones for the baby. The idea is that we bring some habit. That's called samskara vritti chakra. Samskara means these tendencies from the past. We were always doing a lot, singing all the time in our last life. So whenever we wake up, even in this life, we start singing. This music comes naturally to us then. Some people, however they try, they cannot sing a line properly. But some people are just natural singers, born singers, because they brought it. So that's called samskara. The previous lives tendencies are there. Now, what these tendencies do, they propel us to behave accordingly. A musician is going to sing or play instruments. So the more he repeats these samskaras, it becomes a vritti. Vritti means a habit. Vritti means habit. So again and again we are compelled by our tendencies and we act on it. It hardens in us, it strengthens itself and becomes a habit. That's why habits are very dangerous, I always keep saying. H you remove, a bit remains. A also if you remove, bit remains. If you remove B also, it remains. That is a habit. Very difficult to get rid of. So why do you make mistake? Habitual mistakes these are. These are not intentional mistakes. These are habitual mistakes because of the old samskaras that led to. So every time you follow an old tendency of getting angry or singing a song or creating an art piece or start reading some literature, you are strengthening that habit within you. The number of repetitions decides the strength of that habit. So if you do something good again and again and again and again, good becomes your nature, it becomes your habit. That's why Bhagavan used to say, sow a thought, reap an action. Sow an action, reap a tendency. Sow a tendency, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. And sow a character, reap a destiny. So it starts with the thought. These thoughts are coming from the previous lives and pushing you to do things. You have to overcome this cycle by changing habits. Habits can be changed. There is a philosophy now, it says 21 days, if you do the same thing, it becomes a habit. So if you continuously work on some idea for 21 days, it slowly becomes a part of you. Then the old tendencies will go down, down and down. And the newer tendencies will form on top. And one day those will naturally exit the system. That's why Kurupunya Mahoratra, do good day and night, says Shankara. Do good day and night. That's why this situation, that's why I mentioned yesterday, this platform of this mission gives you this opportunity. It compels you to do good day and night. Even if you want to do bad, you can't do it here. That is how this is helping you to develop new habits, new vrittis. But for a jnani at the end, these are initial stages. First replace the bad with good. Then even the good needs to be given up and you should reach the state of jnana where things happen through you. You don't do anything. Things happen through you. If the surgery is going on, just now a surgeon wrote to me, I'm doing a surgery, it's a complicated one, bless me. I said, okay, be an instrument of the divine and do the work. Now when the surgeon is using a knife or a scissors or whatever, scalpel, the scalpel does not get the credit or debit for doing a good or a bad surgery, isn't it? The knife is a knife. What did it do? It's the surgeon's hand which moved the knife. If it cut it right, correct. If it did not cut, it's the surgeon's fault. Knife has no problem. Likewise, a jnani is like that knife in the hand of the divinity, that supreme consciousness. Just goes along with it. Does not decide. The knife does not decide, no, I want to cut it this way. There is no power that knife has. The mic does not decide what words are coming out of it. I decide. Likewise, the supreme consciousness decides what happens through a jnani's body and the mind. So that is how the jnanis live in the world, simply instrumenting. So naturally, the samskara vritti chakra breaks because there are no more tendencies left, there are no more habits left for them. They are simply propelled by the divine consciousness. So divine decides how divine will use them today. That is how jnanis live. Now if you reach that stage, there are no dukkha, sukha, labha, alabha, jaya, ajaya, all the dualities disappear because you are not the doer in the first place. You don't even feel the doership, so you don't feel the enjoyership. That is the idea of it. There are some descriptions, but you can read that. There's a nice shloka from Bhajagovindam that I've added as a supplementary shloka on 9th page, which says, Vayasi gate kah kama vikarah, shushke nire kah asarah, shine vitte kah parivarah, gyate tatve kah samsarah. Beautiful, Adi Shankara and his disciples' composition. He says, Vayasi gate kah kama vikara. When you are already aged, you are in 90s. Where is the possibility for you to enjoy the carnal pleasures? When you are young, you are driven by hormones and you want to enjoy those pleasures. Once you become old, Even if all these pleasures are placed in front of you, even if you want, you cannot enjoy it, right? It means as if they exist, but they don't exist for you. Similarly, shushke nire kah ka asarah. When the water dries up, where is the lake? There is no lake when the water dries up. Kshine vittekah parivara. When your money gets over, where is the family? Adi Shankara says. Everybody disappears like the frogs from a dry well. As long as you have money, everybody is there. Yavad jeev vitto parjana saktaha, tavad nij parivaro raktaha, he says. Till you are earning money, all the family is very happy with you. They are always around you. Paschadapi jarjara dehe. When your body becomes old and weak, and afterwards you cannot even move around and forget about earning money, then what happens? Vata kopi na prichhati gehe. Nobody comes and asks you also, are you alive or dead today? Forget about are you good or not. Who cares? You are not useful to them anywhere. So like that he says, when money gets over, where is the family? All relations are, they'll abandon you once you are poor. And gyate tattve kah samsaraha. Once you know the truth, where is this samsara? How is it going to trouble you? It doesn't exist for a jnani. Let samsara happen. He is not touched by it. Like for an old man, there is no pleasures. For a poor man, there is no family. For a dried lake, there is no water. And for a jnani, there is no worldliness. Even though world is there, worldliness is not there. Doesn't get attracted by these worldly ideas. I should have money, I should have name, I should have fame, I should look good, people should know me, I should be popular, I should have so many followers on Instagram. None of these ideas occur to a jnani. Because he's gone beyond that. For example, are you capable of that? Very much. Imagine when you were children, some of your toys were there, right? Your dolls for girls, and boys had some, I don't know, nowadays they like all these machines like cranes and JCBs. That's what the boys play with nowadays. But whatever. You're mad after it. Somebody takes it, hell breaks loose in your house, right? Nobody should touch your doll, nobody should touch your toys. Now when you grow up, are you same? Are you still running behind those dolls and toys? If some children play and fight for that same doll or toy, what do you say? They're children, they don't know they're fighting over that. But once upon a time you were like them. But you have grown out of that. Similarly, there is a possibility that you can grow out of this worldliness. I want money, I want fame, I want position, I want power, I want popularity, I want friends, I want followers. You will grow out of it one day when you become a jnani. So do toys don't not exist? Yeah, they exist. They're still in your cupboards maybe. But does it attract you anymore to go and play with the toys? No. Why? Because you have grown up. The same way, when you grow up in spirituality, these worldly ideas don't attract you anymore. Even though they're in front of you, you're okay, it's there, fine. But you don't get attracted by them. You don't work for the sake of money or name or fame or position or power or popularity. You simply work because you're instrumenting the divine will, that's all. There's no need for you to run behind things because you don't feel any more attraction for such things. So you ask yourself, do you still feel attraction for the world? It means you are not yet a jnani. You have not yet grown. You're still playing with your toys of the childhood. That's all. How does a jnani look at the people? He looks at all of them as children. That's why Tata word is used by Ashtavakra. Tata for Janaka, who is an old man, he says Tata means, oh little boy. Oh dear child. That is the word he uses because he sees Janaka as a child who is still attracted by things of the world. Like children are attracted by the toys. For a jnani, these are toys. Money is a toy. Family is a toy. Relationships is a toy. It is there as long as it is there. That's it. They are not overtly interested and attracted by that. Got the point? So is it possible for you also to grow into jnani? Yes, because you have grown from a child to an adult and those things of the childhood don't attract you anymore. Same way today the world is very, very attractive to you. You just don't know how to overcome these ideas of whatever your previous lives and these lives. But one day you can grow out of it. You can grow out of it. That is the hope. Because you have grown out of some of those old ideas of your own, which don't appeal to you anymore, which don't attract you anymore. For which sake you are ready to kill your sibling at some point in time. But today is no more so. So like that, jnana also can come to you. Go to the next sloka, 18.52 on page number 13. It says, very beautiful sloka. I mean, this chapter is so beautiful because it's the summary of the entire Ashtavakra, right? It said, Uchshrinkhalya api akritika sthiti dhirasya rajate Na tu samspruha chittasya shanti mudhasya kritrima. Very beautiful shloka, because I see this happening in the ashram all the time. What says uchrinkla abhi? When there is disorderliness, there is chaos, there is some type of behavior which does not look so disciplined also. In that way also, jnanis are, jnani here the word uses dhiraha. Dhiraha means the one with the right discrimination. Sthiti dhirasya rajate, how akritika. Sthiti means steadiness. Who? Dhiraha. The steady minded one, the discriminating one has a steady mind and he's rajate, he's enjoying. Even in the midst of chaos, he's peaceful. The whole world is falling apart. But he is peaceful not by artificially being peaceful, just by going silent or trying to meditate. No. In the midst of chaos, the noise and everything also, he is happy. He is not bothered about what's going around. Why? Because he is untouched by all these things. That is why he is not affected by that. And how is it? Akritrima is the word used. Naturally, he is peaceful. He is not putting efforts to be peaceful. Let me be peaceful. No. He's just peaceful. In any very difficult, unorderly, very unrestrained, chaotic situation also, he's naturally disposed to be peaceful. He doesn't have to put any efforts. Whereas, there is a comparison with the Jnani. What he says, na samsruha chittasya, the attached one. Chitta means heart also, mind also. Attached, samspruha, full of desires. Shanti is mudhasya kritrima. The fool's, mudha, his peace, shanti, is kritrima, artificial. The one who has no desires, his peace is natural. The one who has desires, his peace is artificial. What does it mean? Your mind is full of desires. You want to meditate still. And what happens in your meditation? You are thinking about, oh, I didn't finish that work. Oh, that order did not come. That income, that money, that asset, that family relation. All that goes on. But outside is sitting steady like a stone. But is that real peace is the question. It's not. Physically being steady is not really being steady inside. You can act that you are a very peaceful person. But deep inside there is a volcano. Anytime it can explode. And I have seen a lot of people like that. From when they move around, they're so silent, so peaceful. In fact, they have a artificial plastic smile also on their face all the time. They'll be like this all the time. But they are not really smiling. They're acting, pretending. They're trying to look spiritual. Put on a lot of vibhuti and change the clothes, shave off the head, put on a few rudraksha and give a smile to everybody as you're walking around. I'm very wary of such people. Durta Lakshanam, this is all. They're very deceitful people. Because they're not really peaceful. They appear to be peaceful. Scratch them and the beast comes out, as they say. Don't say Sairam to them when you are crossing them on the road. Smile will still continue. But inside, I noticed you. They come to some place smiling. The next person does not give them the seat or say hello. They continue to smile plastically, but inside they're boiling. I know. So that kind of peace is artificial for who is desirous of the world and worldly things. They appear to be peaceful. They act like peaceful people, act like spiritual people. They put on all the paraphernalia, but inside they are not peaceful. Whereas a true peaceful person, true jnani, even if somebody is respecting, not respecting, somebody is giving a chair, not giving a chair, somebody puts them in the front row or the last row, somebody asks them whether they are good or not, it doesn't matter. He is happy within himself. He doesn't care, like children. They're playing happy within themselves, like see a baby in the cradle, just kicking legs and hands and smiling to itself. It doesn't care if the prime minister came by or the maid servant came by, it doesn't care. Likewise, these jnanis live so unattached because they have no desire for anything. Because they have no desire, they are happy, irrespective of what happens around them. And their peace is real. Their peace is not unreal, artificial. That is the idea of this shloka, which is very true because I've met a lot of people. Outside they look very spiritual and very peaceful, but inside they're so desirous and so very attached to things. And especially if you put on, the more paraphernalia you put on yourself, the more I run away from such people. They shave off their head and do this and all the kind of drama they start doing. Many of them are there. I come to ashram, suddenly they become a different animal. All changes outside. Inside nothing changes. I am interested your inside changes. What will I do with your outside? Polish the vessel, make it shine and put poison inside. Who wants it? Rather give me a glass of water in even a clay pot. It quenches my thirst. That is the idea. See, I am always about inside. SAIC, always inside, was the acronym. So the idea is that I'm always interested in the inside. Ramakrishna Paramsa was there. I think Vivekananda came and complained to him that whenever I'm trying to meditate, there is a factory siren that goes off. Because of, in the old times, even now factories are there which will have shift changes. So there will be a siren that will go off, and loud one for some few minutes. So it would disturb my meditation, is what young Vivekananda was complaining to Ramakrishna Paramsa. Because he is artificially trying to be peaceful. Ramakrishna said, then meditate on the siren. Oh, there is a siren going on. Let my mind focus on the siren. The sound of siren, how it's increasing and decreasing. Meditate on that, he said. This morning I was sitting, so I wanted to read this book. Okay, I have very little time. So this morning at 7 o'clock, I opened this book with tea, and then I thought I'll sit outside in the cool breeze. But the moment I went outside, this place is, I tell you, construction starts off at 6:30 in the morning. Somebody's hammering, cutting, making noise. The moment I came out in the garden, I said, I can't study there. I went inside my room. I said, Abba, this is peaceful. Let me read from here. The moment I started reading from this village, some loud speaker started of some morning bhajans. I said, yo, another noise here. How will I study now? Then I remember Ramakrishna Paramahamsa telling Vivekananda, meditate on that silence. So for a few minutes, I meditated on that song. It was some Hanuman Chalisa being played from some big loudspeaker from some village temple. So I meditated for some time. Slowly the mind calmed down. Then you continue study. Did Hanuman Chalisa stop? No. But could you study? Yes. Because I meditated on that Hanuman Chalisa which was being played. It's better than the bhajans that they sing, by the way, in those loudspeakers, out of Shruti bhajans. So Hanuman Chalisa is a recorded CD. It was better. So the idea is that whatever comes to you, you are happy. You are naturally peaceful. You are not struggling, fighting, resisting, conflicting with things around you. You get my point? This is the beauty of being a jnani. Is it not a nicer state than what you are in? They get irritated. Who played this horn right now? Who is cutting that tile right now? It's disturbing my peace, disturbing my meditation. Two, let it happen, whatever is happening. I'll meditate on that noise itself now. See, the attitude change. Huge difference, because you can't change the world. You can only change yourself if you want to attain peace. If your peace is dependent on the change of the world around you, you will never attain that peace. It only depends on what you can change within yourself and live with what is around you. Make peace with it, as they say. That's when you can be happy in your life. So this is the shloka which clearly says that, and a very nice Bhagavad Gita supplementary shloka is on the next page, 14, 2.66 from Bhagavad Gita, second chapter, which says, Nasti buddhi ayuktasya na cha ayuktasya bhavana na cha bhavayatah shantihi ashantasya kutah sukham. You want to be happy in life. Everybody wants to be happy. So Bhagavad Gita says, for ayukta, for unprepared, unsteady, desirous, worldly, na asti buddhihi. Good discrimination, good intelligence does not happen to such a person. Then what does not happen? Nacha ayuktasya bhavana. For the ayukta, undeserving, unprepared, bhavana is also not there. Means good disposition is not there. Mind is always agitated, irritated, complaining, crying. Such a person. Then nacha abhavayatah shantihi. For that who has no positive disposition of mind, there is no peace. Because he'll find fault in everything. Give him everything, he'll still find and complain about it. Abhavaha. Because there's no good disposition of mind. And then for such a person who has no peace, ashantasya kutah sukham. How can such a person be happy? When are we happy? When we are peaceful. We are happy when we are peaceful. That's why peace is such a cardinal principle of all religions. Every religion has this word called peace. Shanti, shalom. Everywhere. They say talk about peace. Why? Because peace is such an important thing. Without that we can't be happy. And we all want to be happy. But where do we lose our peace? How do we get disturbed? When we are attached to anything or we have any desire, we get disturbed. Because if desires are fulfilled, temporarily we'll attain peace. But once new desire arises after that samskara vritti chakra, avidya, kama, karma is another chakra. From ignorance comes a desire, from desires comes an action. Action leads to more ignorance, ignorance leads to new desire leads to new actions, leads to more ignorance. It keeps fulfilling itself. Likewise, the one whose desires will never be at peace. Till he fulfills the desire, he is restless. Once he fulfills the desire, for some time there is peace, but the next desire arises. Then he chases that, and then chases after the new desire, fulfills it, only then is peace. Again, the desire. How many people I see? They come here. My son is not getting married. Find a bride, find a bride. I'm not a matrimonial over here. Go find a bride for yourself. Finally, okay, bless that there. Finally, they find a bride. Please, marriage. Okay, marriage is for next. The 2 years after marriage, no grandchildren. I'm getting old. Will I ever have the fortune of seeing a grandchild play on my lap? Fine. So finally, they get a grandchild. My grandchild is not listening to us. He's very naughty. He's not studying properly. This, that. Let him study properly. Okay, studies. Now he grows up. Now he's making bad friendships. He's not a disciplined fellow. Please bless him to be a jnani, like all these things. Fine. Then one day he grows up. He has to get a good college, good seat, good placements after education. Okay, good. Now my grandchild's marriage. And the grandchild gets married, the cycle repeats. Now will I see a great grandchild before I die? I know you're breaking some Guinness record or something. Maximum number of generations that somebody has seen. Desire is unending. 1 BHK to 2 BHK, 2 to 4, 4 BHK to a villa, from villa to a mansion. It goes on. Small car to big car to a new car to an electric car. It goes on. It's endless. That's why Shankaracharya, no, it is another Bhartrihari who says, Trishnana Jirna Vayameva Jirna. Our desires don't become old, we become old and die eventually. That is the idea of desire. So desires are fulfilled, you are peaceful. Once it's not fulfilled, you are restless, angry, upset. Your peace is lost. The one who is not desirous of anything, whatever comes by divine destiny, let it come. My child has to be born, fine. Child has to study, fine. Child will become. You do your duty as parent, that's all, and leave it at that. Don't be, my child should become a doctor. Why? Because I could not become a doctor. My child should become a dancer because I could not learn dance. That's not the way to raise a child. So these desires are the reason why we lose peace, or attachments to things. This is mine. Nobody should steal it. Nobody should, rob me of that. That protection of everything, yoga kshema. It goes on and on. So desirous people can never be peaceful. That's what Bhagavad Gita says. And the one who has no peace, where is happiness in such people's life? How many rich people I have seen around the world? How many powerful influencers? How many wealthy and very, big family people? No peace. One fellow in that 10 people's family says something, the whole family is lost its peace. They don't sleep, they don't eat, they come and cry, complain. And I look at them and then I think of them as children who are still fighting for the toys. And leave it at that. Once they grow up, they'll realize, what were we fighting for after all? We could have done something better with our time. But right now, they're very, very, very serious about the toy. Serious about winning the game. And if I tell them, hey, it's after all a game, what are you getting excited? They will run away from it. Okay, we don't want Swamijis like this. We want Swamijis who will give us solutions. Find brides for our sons or husbands for our daughters, schools for our kids, colleges for our grown-up grandchildren. I want such Swamijis. Swamiji says, don't worry, it's all right, whatever God, these are, we don't want you to tell this. We want Swamijis who will make miracles happen. I've got this disease, I don't want to go and spend all the time in the hospital with the doctors. I'm coming to you. You just cure me of the disease. What? You'll save the hospital bills? Why you want me to cure this? There's a process, you follow the process. When you were eating all that wrong thing and became diabetic and now your foot has to be cut, that time you didn't think of me. Now that it has happened, you are thinking of me that your foot should be saved. No, go get it cut, otherwise the whole body is going to get rotten. So people are like that. They don't want to come to Gyanis because it does not suit them. What suits them? Somehow solve our problems, give us assurance, give us some courage, and we will go, all this that we want, all our desires, you fulfill it, then they are very happy. That's why Bhagavan used to say, Korkila tiste Sai Baba, lekapothe Rai Baba. You are a stone. People run away. So gurus are not meant to do that. If gurus go on fulfilling desires like this, when will you grow up? When you grow up, what your mother says, you have grown up now, behave like a grown up. Stop playing with this. Learn some new skills. That's what they say. People will laugh at you if you're still behaving like a child. That is why I say here in the ashram, I don't look at your physical age. I look at your spiritual growth, spiritual age. How are you become less desirous, less attached, and more peaceful and more happy? That is the idea. The next shloka is 1853 on page 16, which says, Vilasanti mahabhogaihi vishanti giri ghavaran nirasta kalpana dhira abadha mukta buddhayaha. Oh, beautiful again. Vilasanti mahabhogaihi. He dwells in the highest luxury, the jnani. Or vishanti giri ghavaran, or stays in the caves of the mountains. Look, one side is a luxurious mansion that he may dwell in. On the other side, he may also need to go and live in a cave. Whichever be the situation, nirasta kalpana dhira, the one who is free of all these imaginary ideas that I get happiness only if I live in a mansion, I'll be sad if I live in the cave. Those who are thinking like that, such people who are rid of this thinking, such dhiras, discriminating one, abadha, they are unbound. Mukta buddhaya, because their minds are free of attachments. Give them a mansion to live in, they'll happily live. Give them a cave to live in, they'll live there also. Because their minds don't get attached to the idea that, oh, I'll be happy only if there is a mansion for me. I'll not be happy if there is a cave. Nirasta kalpana, this imagination that our happiness comes from the outside. Our happiness comes from the within. That is the idea. And for these people, not for everybody. For other people, it comes from outside. The adhira, the dhira, the wise one, the intelligent ones, they know their happiness is their own, that comes from within. External things don't add to your happiness. So in one day you get to live in a mansion, so be it. One day you will go to live in a cave, that also is okay. Both ways they're okay. See, Janaka is a very good example. Of course, after all this Ashtavakra Gita, he might have become the wise person, Dhira. By the day he'll come and wear the crown and his royal robes and sit on the throne and govern the kingdom. When it becomes sunset, he will go back home to his bedroom, remove all those things, keep it aside and sleep on a mat and be happy. Next morning he'll wake up, again he becomes the king, he puts on everything like an actor on the stage. That's how these Gyanis live. So don't go by my Mercedes and all that stuff. If it is not there tomorrow also, I don't bother. But some devotee felt, oh, you are traveling, you should be having the best and safe car. Tomorrow an accident happens, this is the safest car in the market. And this is the most comfortable if there is long distance travel. Somebody out of devotion gives it. Tomorrow it's not in my name. Tomorrow they say, we are taking the car back. I can't tell, don't take my car. It's not mine in the first place. I live in my apartments, they are not mine in the first place. And I'm acutely aware of everything. Nothing is mine. These clothes are also not mine. Somebody gives it. They want to see me well dressed, like you decorate your gods in the puja altar, right? They want to do that, let them do. Tomorrow they will say, no, we can't afford to give you anything. I'm very happy to wear a cotton dhoti and a white kurta and roam around. But today, the position that I am in, when I have to come out of my room, like Janaka, I must be dressed for the occasion. That gives dignity to the job that is given to me by God. If it is not, then I'll not be doing a good job of where I am. Simple as that. You're a president of the country, you get a whole convoy of cars, you get all the security, you get to live in the presidential apartments. Once you're not the president, go back to where you come from. Nobody is going to give you the luxury of living there. Will the president becomes angry? No, I was the president, I must continue to live there. Then all the presidents will be living in the same house. They also know a retirement will happen. We have to leave after 5 years and go back to wherever we came from. Like that, a Jnani is aware he has entered the world only for a few years. And one day this all going to end. And he has to go back to wherever he has come from. They are unattached to everything that they have. It appears that they are attached. Fools think like that. That also one shloka is coming about it. How fools look at Jnani and misunderstand them. Only a Jnani understands. Yeah, that will come next. But the idea is that in whichever situation you keep them, they are happy. Halallu daru haku, ನೀರಲ್ಲೂ ದರು ಹಾಕು, ಹಾಲಲ್ಲೂ ಕೆರೆಯಾಗಿ, ನೀರಲ್ಲೂ ತಂಪಾಗಿ, ಹಾಯಾಗಿ ಇರುವೆ, ಹಾಯಾಗಿ ಇರುವೆ. ಹಾಯಾಗಿ ಇರುವೆ is the key. Put me in whatever situation, I'll be happy. That is the idea of Gyanis. Okay, so very beautiful shloka comes from this. Again, Bhagja Govindam, which says in the next page, Yoga rato va bhoga rato va sanga rato va sanga vihinaha yasya brahmani ramate chittam nandati nandati nandatyeva. whether he is abiding in yoga or whether he is enjoying the bhoga, pleasures of the world, whether he is in the company of people or whether he is aloof as a renunciate, the one whose mind is immersed in the divine, such a person is happy in all situations. Dwell on it. Dwell on it. Such a person is happy in all situations, contented in all situations, whichever way you put him. Bhogarato, yogarato. Bhoga means looks like an ordinary man enjoying the world. Eats the same, lives like this, but inside he is not attached. And yogarato, same time if he goes to meditation and absorbs in the samadhi, even then he is the same. His quality does not change because external things change. Our qualities change. When the outside changes, also changes. For him, inside is the same steady. Only the changes are on the outside. So I always tell, even in this mission, if you're taking up any activity, unless you are detached from the point of view that tomorrow it is not given to you to do that, are you willing to let go without thinking twice? If you cannot drop it, do not pick it up, I say. Because that's a bondage. All action is bondage. Karmanu bandhini manushya loke. All actions are bondages only. So who should perform the actions then? The one who is capable of avoiding the bondage. One who is smarter than this bondage of actions, who can outsmart it. Only a jnani can do it because he knows he is not the doer. He is not the enjoyer. It happens through him. Everybody else who thinks I am the doer is stuck. Because he has to be doer and then he has to be a non-doer at some point in time. It's a pain. A lot of people I've seen, they get so attached to whatever they're doing, including seva, that they can't even see it that they're attached. Everybody sees it, that they're so attached. They look like very big Brahmagyanis, as put up a smile and all the paraphernalia and build great institutions and live as if they're living only for others. But deep inside, all these are their personal ambitions and desires expressing as external activities. They are also ambitious. They want their NGOs to be on top. They want themselves to be known and seen and recognized, acknowledged for this. They are actually not true Gyanis. Now, I may on the surface appear like that. Oh, he is also calling CSR people, having meetings, this and that. Not for my sake. What needs to be done as an institution for its sustenance, we will do. It is not my personal idea and ambition. That is where doership, enjoyership does not come. Otherwise, if CSR conclave fails, we all be sitting sad for 3 days. Nothing happened. Or something happens out of it, you all will be patting each other's back and saying, what a wonderful job. Either ways, it's okay. That's done and dusted. Now we are in Ashtavakra Gita. That's over for you. That was yesterday. This is today. So that kind of detachment should be there. Only for Jnani it is possible. Agyanis will get attached. They'll try not to get attached, but they'll get attached finally. I was telling when we started this OWF mission, the whole transition from our previous avatar of, Madhusudan Sai Global Humanitarian Mission, I'm slowly shifting it to One World, One Family Mission. So I called our team, my young soldiers or commanders, I call them. And I told them first a story. Before I even gave the discourse on how OWF should work, I told them a story of a man. He was a farmer coming back home from his fields when he saw that a snake was trying to climb a tree and eat the eggs of a bird which were there on the nest up. He became very protective. He thought, oh, poor, the bird's eggs are there and the snake is going to eat it all. So he shoot the snake away, the snake chased it away. And then he said, okay, now I can go home. But then thought occurred to him. If I go home, there is a possibility that the snake will come back again and eat up those eggs. So I must not go home, I will stay here. So he stayed under the tree. His wife and children came searching where was he lost. They came and saw he was sitting under the tree in the thick of the night. He said, what are you doing? He said, I'm protecting the eggs from the snake. Oh, okay, that's fine. When he's a good man, he's trying to save some lives. So they said, that's all right for one night or so, it's okay. Next day also he was sitting under the tree. And next night also he was sitting under the tree. So wife and all said, what is this? Come back home. He said, no, there are birds going to be there and the snake might come and eat them anytime. I said, okay, fine. Then slowly a week passed, a month passed. He was still sitting under the tree. He put up a nice little shanty over there and made a hut for himself under the tree and settled down permanently. Never went home. And whole village said, what a great Mahatma he is. For the sake of saving those little fledglings, he has given up his samsara, his wife and children and sitting under the tree and protecting. Now everybody started coming and worshipping him, acknowledging him. Months passed. He didn't even check whether there are eggs and birds inside the nest. Now his work became his identity, new identity. Sage-like identity. The birds hatched, the eggs hatched, and the birds flew away. There was nothing inside the nest left. Perhaps the snake never came back again. But this man kept on living under the tree because that becomes his new identity. I am a very kind-hearted, generous, compassionate being, and everybody knows that I am that. Now, if I close this shop and go home, my new identity is lost. So I told our One World, One Family mission people, look, this can happen to you and me and to anybody who is not a jnani. We don't need to do seva, but we want to do seva. Like one school kid was given the assignment to help an elderly to get those brownie points, for doing voluntary work. So he came back late to the school. He came late to the school. So the teacher asked, why are you late today? The boy said, I was trying to help an elderly as a part of my voluntary work mandated by the school. He said, then why are you so late? It's because I was trying to help the elderly cross the road. I said, that should not take so much time. Yes, but the elderly did not want to cross the road. That's why it took time. Nobody wanted your seva, but you want to do it. Why? I am supposed to do seva. Sometimes this madness comes to us even while doing seva. That's why I keep warning everybody. Be very, very wary and careful about your positions, titles, and things like that. We'll give some titles for the sake of structure and sanity in the organization. But that should not become your identity, a new identity. I've been elevated to the general manager now. I've been elevated to a trustee now. Suddenly there is a new air about you. And I have seen that, how the attached people get. Actually, the attachment in the worldly activities is less. Spiritual activities even more. Highly attached people become, because this arrogance that comes from you being better than the holier than thou is far more sticky. And I am dealing with it. That is why I get upset, saying so much jnana I have given, so much warnings I have given, cautions I have given. Yet people get so quickly attached to things because they are not doing enough swadhyaya, enough contemplation and practice of the scriptures. So I see those warning signs, those bells ringing everywhere. I said, oh, there are warning bells ringing. There are many people getting attached to their positions and then slowly becoming one of those many organizations outside where people fight for their positions. Even in a charity, which is supposed to help you grow spiritually. But then that becomes your new identity. And now you can't live without it. Because the moment I take you out of that identity, you suddenly feel lost. You suddenly feel insecure and unhappy. And this I have seen. That's why when we did the big transition, I told all Tyagajivis, enough, all of you have crossed 70, 75. Good enough, you have done all your life's work. Now let the youngsters take over from here. But the youngsters were all very immature, 20, 25, 25 range. These were 75. I told no, anybody who has crossed this, actually after 60, you should all retire and give the chance to others. Next 20 years, you mentor them, and after that, totally sannyasa. You don't even have to mentor them. You do your sadhana. And I have a formula, right? As per your age, you should do sadhana. If you're 25 years old, 25% of your time for sadhana, 75% for seva. If you're 50 years old, half the time for sadhana, half for seva. If you're 75, 2/3 for sadhana or 1/4 for seva. And if you're 100 years old, completely lost and absorbed in the divine. No need of doing any seva. No need to. But people want to do seva in the name of saying, till the end of my last breath, I want to serve you. I said, yes, but ask me how I want you to serve me. Ask me, I'll tell you how I would like you to serve me. Do nothing, that is how you will serve me. Do sadhana, that is how you will serve me. No, but I must serve. I told, that is what is service. Not the way you think service, the way I think what is service. See, at your age, you should do sadhana. So when we retire people at a certain age, they say, we came here only to serve you and serve the humanity. And now he was telling you don't need to work. I said, yeah, you don't need to work. That is how you will serve better. With shaky hands, what surgery you will do. There is a limit to everything, right? There is an expiry date to everything, including your actions. That's why we had very clear brahmacharya, grahastha, vanaprastha, sannyasa. Clear ashram, clear demarcation. Student life, 25 years, study. Next 25 years, if you want to get into family life, okay, raise a family. Next 25 years, leave the family, they'll be on their own, start doing service to the society. Come 75, give up everything, only sadhana. But when I transitioned all these people, the working life to a slightly non-working life, a lot of them felt very insecure. In fact, some of them were angry with me. And they were less angry, their chelas are there, one disciple. They were more angry. How could you do this to that elderly Tyagajivi? How could you remove them from their positions? I said, I have not removed them. I have retired them. There's a time for everything. And the young generation has to take up. No, they'll make mistakes. They'll make a mess of the whole place. The whole reputation built over 50 years will be, destroyed because of these funny policies of yours. I said, but when will the young ones learn? No tree grows under a bigger tree. They have to get their space. We'll take the risk, I said. While I am alive, I can still handle the risks. I will not allow this not to happen. So I put my foot down and said, this is what we feel is right. This is very intuitive. And this is what the next thing is. So we took the risk. So where does this dhira get the courage from? From the idea that he's an instrumenting the divine and doing the right thing. Am I doing it for my appreciation, or will I stop doing out of fear of being ridiculed? No, both do not exist in the jnani. That's why only a Jnani can run institutions. Actually, only a Jnani should be the head of the state or the country, because only then things will happen. The idea of, philosopher king, the idea of Rajarishi, that is what is the right thing to do. At least if you are not Jnani, take advice from a Jnani. That's why we had all courts of the kings having advisors in rishis, not scientists, not economists. Rishis were sitting in those courts. Like Vasishtha was the advisor to King Dasharatha. Ashtavakra, or before that Yajnavalkya, was advisor to Janaka. So their advisors were all spiritual beings, not ordinary mortals. So that is how they were. In their cabinet there was always a sage. Because they needed that wisdom to rule the kingdom correctly. So when I moved all these people, there was a lot of transition issues, and any change goes through all these issues. This is not new. Similarly, when we change the education system to a para-apara balanced education system, lot of ridicule. People wrote to me, you're destroying the reputation of great Tyagajivis. 50 years they built with so much of hard work. Suddenly you come and you change everything. You are no good. This, that they wrote. But I stood with my conviction. I said, this is how it should be. We can't do the wrong thing just because it's a popular thing to do. No, we will do the right thing, even if it's unpopular. Who can take such risks? Only a Jnani, because he's unattached. If he's attached, he'll not take the risk. No, people will say this. People will say that. I lose my position only, my identity. So I better not touch. They let the sleeping dogs lie. Why stone them? Then nothing changes in the world. Nothing improves. Nothing becomes better. So Jnani alone in detached way can be real leader. If leadership is not coming with that true jnana of detachment and desirelessness, it is going to lead them all in the wrong direction. As yesterday Ram Dorai ji was saying, compass is more important than clock. Which direction you are going is important than how fast you are going. And that's exactly what leadership is. Jnana is leadership. If you are not jnani, better not lead anybody. Because ande naiva niyamana yathanda, like blind leading the blind, both will go and fall into the pit. So don't do that. That's why the idea of jnana is very important. Next shloka is 1854. It says, Shrotriyam devatam tirtham anganam bhupatim priyam drishtva sampujya dhirasya na kapi hridi vasana. Page number 20. It says Shrotriyam means the wise ones, devatam, gods, tirtham, pilgrim places, anganam, the limbs of the opposite gender, bhupatim, the kings, priyam, the loved ones. When one sees all these people, who are these people? Very learned wise men, the gods in the temples, the pilgrimage places, the limbs of the opposite gender, means the beauty of the others, bhupatim, the kings and the rich people, priyam, the loved ones. What happens? Drishtvam sampujya dhirasya. Seeing them, a dhira, jnani, how does he behave? Behaves appropriately, gives them the respect that is due for them. Na ka api hrudavasana, but does not develop any desire. Now you see a very learned person who can rattle out Sanskrit shlokas. Hey, I also want to learn Sanskrit and say shlokas like him. A desire arises. Then you see a devata, a temple, passing by a temple, stop and do a namaskar. If he gets angry, then we'll be in trouble. Or go inside and beg for boons. Devatam. Then Tirtham. When you go to a Tirtha place, suddenly you feel all your sins have been washed away just because you took a Ganges or some river which might be coming out of some sewage somewhere. Most of the rivers are like that nowadays, unfortunately. But you feel very good. Now I have gone to the pilgrimage. Now all my sins are washed away. I can start new set of sins tomorrow. Anganam, you see a beautiful lady for a man, or a woman sees a man, handsome man. That's even desire. I want to have him as my husband or a wife. Then Bhupatim, you see a king or a rich person, I also want to earn wealth. Suddenly, your desire for wealth increases. Then Priyam, you see a beloved, you want to go and show your love and affection. So what happens when a Jnani sees all of them? Sampujya dhirasya. Equally as appropriately he behaves. But no desire touches a Jnani. I also should become rich. I also should become wise. I should also become pure. These desires don't come. Inspiration may come. I'm like, inspiration is different from desire. You see, you get inspired to become a better version of yourself, good. But desire, I also should have money. I should have that handsome man for myself. These vasanas don't come to such a jnani. So what it means that he's so detached. World, he lives in the world does not live in him. Everything, keep all gold, not attached. What is needed, he'll take. What is not, he'll throw it away. That's why when Purandardasa gave up all his samsara and became a monk, renunciate, though he had a wife and children, but he gave up his wealth in charity to everybody and only was singing the glory of Vishnu in the streets of his village. Somebody wants to test. Is he really a Jnani? Is he really a detached person or simply doing drama? Because till yesterday he was the richest man in the town and today he seems to be a mendicant. Let us check. So what they do in the rice, they mix some gems and pearls. And then they give him as a puffed rice, bhiksha. And he doesn't even check. He just, singing the glory and goes home. And he gives the rice to his wife to cook for his kids. Because bhiksha vritti, uncha vritti, that is their way. So when wife is cooking, now the neighbors are watching. Now what does she do? Because he may be a sannyasi, he didn't even realize rice was mixed with gemstones. Let us see what his wife does. Wife goes and as she's picked, like how women pick the stones and throw them out, right? She picks the gems and throws them out. Pearls throws them out. Precious stones throws them out. Only takes the rice and cooks it. Then people realize they're really detached. Because the gemstone or the normal stone didn't matter to that lady. She treated both the same. That idea is that of wisdom. So these people see rich people also, but they don't get desirous of becoming rich. Otherwise I've seen somebody passes in a nice new luxury car, all eyes riveted to the car. I wish I had a car like this. A beautiful woman passes by, I wish I had a friend or girlfriend like that. Because they can't think beyond body and mind. You see, they see something attracted by this. Bhagavad Gita says, no, 8 steps to destruction. What are the 8 steps to destruction? Jayato? You know all that, so I won't repeat. So think of something for continuously, for some time, it becomes an attachment. A desire arises. When desires are not fulfilled, anger arises. Anger causes destruction of all your memory and discrimination. Finally, you bring your ruin upon yourself. How many kids are getting ruined in the name of these modern, liberal, social, cultural norms? This is horrible. But then nothing we can do about it because society, the majority thinks that is right. But even if you are a minority, if you are right, you are still right. That is the idea. You should stick to your convictions and be right despite whatever others think. That's precisely the next sloka, a beautiful one. 1855, it says, on page number 22, Bhrityaihi putraihi kalatraischa dauhitraischapi gotrajaihi vihasya dhikruto yogi nayati vikritim manak. Look at a yogi, the one who is established in the knowledge of the self, who is unattached to the world, who is desireless. What happens? Bhrityai, when his servants or his putrai, his children, kalatrai, his wife, or dohitrai, his grandchildren, and gotrajai, his relatives, when they vihasya dhikruto, when they make a mockery of him, laugh at him, and ridicule him, what does he do? Nayati vikritim manak, his mind is not disturbed. Because if you take the spiritual part, the majority are not like this. They will laugh at you. Why are you going and settling in the ashram? What is the need? You're so intelligent, you're so brilliant, you're so capable. Earn money. When you're old, then you go and do service. All kinds of things they will say. Your own servants will also mock you, says Bhrityaihi. Not in front of you, behind your back. In the kitchen, they will talk about you. Look, this man has gone mad. Then Krutrahi, the children will say, what are you giving away all the wealth in charity? What about us? Kalatrahi, wife will say, you married me with the promise, that you will buy me car every year and in my birthday you will buy a necklace. And what's going on now? Suddenly you give up everything and want to go away to godly. Dohitrahi, his grandchildren will say, oh, my grandfather has gone senile. He is doing some crazy thing suddenly. And then Gotrajai, all relatives will make a mockery, laugh at you. What is this happened to these people? They'll laugh at you, they'll make a mockery, they'll question your ideas and philosophy of life. Your own people, forget about others. Your own people will laugh at you, he says. Yet, you are not disturbed because you know you are right. Let them laugh at you, let them make a mockery, let them think you have gone mad. Let them do. Like Tukaram's wife was beating him with a cane, sugar cane, not the real cane, sugar cane. It broke into 4 pieces. He said, now I know how to distribute it for 4 children. Not bothered. Gandhiji, when he left South Africa with the conviction to get independence for India, his own children and wife ridicule. He tells his wife Kasturba, see in this ashram, what he built in South Africa itself. You have to clean the toilets. Everybody cleans toilets, including me. She said, I not married you to clean toilets. We have servants. They'll clean. He said, if you are doing like that, you get out of this ashram. He told his wife. People said, he's gone crazy. What happened to this man all of a sudden? Until at the end, his children were not happy with him. Why? Because he had taken to a path where others were not ready to go. But even then, the Dhira does not judge them, does not ridicule them in return. He says, okay, they don't understand, but this is my path, this is my calling. Let others think what they think. When I quit my job all of a sudden, I was doing very well. And actually at the peak of my career, I quit. And the one who took the responsibility for me next in the bank, he said, why are you quitting now? You are just rising. This is the beginning of your rise. Why are you quitting? How will I explain to him why am I quitting? For a greater reason, for a greater cause. But they cannot understand. They are so upset and they are so dumbfounded that what's going on in his life. I think something has bitten him. And then the bad impression, no, this Sai Baba is like that, he'll change everybody and people become sannyasis. Now nobody should go there. All kinds of ideas. So they ridicule, they laugh, they may jeer at you, they make a mockery. But the wise one knows that he is not here to listen to unsolicited advice and unwanted commentary from the fools. तू कौन है तेरा नाम है क्या सीता भी यहाँ बदनाम हुई. A song goes like that. कुछ तो लोग कहेंगे, लोगों का काम है कहना, छोड़ो बेकार की बातों में कहीं बीत ना जाए रहना. Don't lose your peace over people's talks. They didn't spare Mother Sita. Who are you after all? सबसे बड़ा रोग क्या कहेंगे लोग. What will others say? Oh, they'll say, my village people are saying, he's going to Madhusudan Sai Institute. Not at all good. So this goes on and on. So a Jnani has to stay above all these things. Some people's comments on what you do or what you don't do should not dissuade you from this path of truth. So that is the other idea that I want to tell, because a lot of young kids are there. They will definitely be questioned. Why are you going there? Why are you doing this at this age? Why this is necessary? When you become retired and old, do that. So those things are the things that I wanted to kind of highlight. That's why I spent a little more time explaining that it is never easy to do this, right? So this is what the idea was, that don't argue with fools because they will bring you down to their level and beat you with their experience. So don't even try to get into that. Fools say, there's a story when Buddha was there and some colleagues came, he said, don't argue with fools. When he was telling, no, but because of this I'm saying that, yes, you are right. Just say you are right. Because there's no point in telling fools. They will not understand anything. You'll waste your time. So just say you are right and get rid of them. That is the idea. 1856 is page 24. Santushtopi na santushtaha kinnopi na ch khidyate tasyashcharya dasham tam tadrisha eva janate. Another beautiful shloka which says, Santushtopi na santushta. When they seem to be very happy, they're really not happy inside. They are the same, steady. Kinnopi na chidyate. When they appear to be angry or irritated, they are really not irritated or angry inside. Tasya ascharya dasham. Their amazing disposition, dasha, the state of mind, who understands? Only another one like them understands them. Fools cannot understand them. Only another one who is also the same kind understands who these people are. Because when they seem to be happy, they are not really excited. When they seem to be angry, they are not really agitated. Inside of theirs is calm like the depths of the ocean. It's only the surface that you see the reactions. So Jnani also reacts to the world, but not like Ajnanis who react and then get involved in it. And now that enmity lasts a lifetime. They also correct people, they also make amends, they also act in the world, and sometimes they are also upset and sad or angry. But that does not touch their inside. That's the whole thing. They can come back next day and continue doing what needs to be done. That ability is of Jnani, and who understands them? Another Jnani only understands them. Swami Vivekananda said, only another Vivekananda would know who this Vivekananda is. Because there's no equal to them, right? Only a Jnani understands a Jnani. How much people of the world try to understand them through their own limited lenses, they cannot understand the entirety of his personality. He seems to be crying like us, happy like us, sad like us, angry like us, excited like us, but all on the surface. Like the surface of the ocean is moving, the inside of the ocean is always steady. The Gyanis live like this in this samsara. Again, a very beautiful choka. Tasya ascharya dasham tam tam tadrisha eva janate. Only another Gyani, another person who is also a similar type will understand who this great one is. Otherwise, for ordinary people, it's beyond their comprehension. So, what is the advice for the Gyani? Don't bother about what the fools think. What is the advice for the fools? Don't even try to understand the Gyani. And rather not open your mouth about a Jnani because you understand nothing of it. See, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was the master of Vivekananda, right? Swami Vivekananda, when he went abroad, first he was ridiculed by his own Guru Bhais, the other brother disciples, that we are not supposed to cross the ocean. You know, in Hindu, whatever ideology, we do not cross the ocean. It's a sin to cross the oceans. Somehow it is mentioned. But Swami Vivekananda, the first to dare to cross the ocean, go to Chicago. And when he returned, his own people, distanced him, saying you have to purify yourself first because you have sinned by crossing the ocean, some kind of crossing the seas. So he is not allowed to enter Dakshineshwar, where Ramakrishna had lived and where he grew up actually, literally. When he returned from his trip from Chicago, he never entered Dakshineshwar temple for the rest of his life. Therefore, he built an ashram on the other side of Ganges and only saw Dakshineshwar from far. He was never allowed inside Dakshineshwar because he was considered as a sinner because he crossed the seas. Look at the orthodoxy and, in today's time, if I can say, so stupidity of things. He went, spread the great glory of Bharat. He should be welcomed with open arms and actually worshipped. Instead, he was ridiculed and ostracized by his own brother disciples and the temple authorities. This is what he had to face to do the good, because nobody understood who he was and what he was doing. So when he was abroad also, some people said, please speak about Ramakrishna Paramsa, but he never spoke about Ramakrishna Paramsa. He spoke about Bharatiya Sanatana Samskriti and things like that, which was received very well. But he didn't mention anywhere you see in his speeches from Chicago, nowhere he eulogizes or glorifies his guru or says things about his guru's ideas now. So, but he was ridiculed that you are usurping the Guru's legacy and you are trying to establish yourself as the next big thing. Same things were told to me also. You are usurping the empire of Satya Sai and now you are establishing yourself as the next Sai, and ridiculous messages. That time Ramakrishna, Vivekananda says that what should I speak to these dollar worshippers about the greatness of my master? Do they even, are they even capable of understanding? What do they understand of it? So, Bhrantasya Vada Shastas Tadrisha, earlier shloka said, they will be understood by somebody who is also like them. Anybody less than them cannot understand them. It's like the elephant being trying to be understood by four blind men. Each thing, it's a pillar, it's a rope, it's a fan, it's a wall, and things like that. So only a Jnani understands. Jnani Jauhari ki gati Jauhari jane, says Meera. Only another jeweler knows this jeweler. Likewise, my pain, Meera says, Mero dard na jane koi. Nobody understands my pain, my yearning for Krishna. My husband doesn't understand. My mother-in-law does not understand. My own friends and the sisters don't understand. Kirtan don't understand. Only I know the pain of longing for Krishna. And only another one who also is equally pained because of separation for Krishna will understand my state. She says, Mera dard na jane koi. That is the idea. Nobody understands them other than somebody else who is also exactly like them. So now I have stopped expecting too many people to understand me. I just think let us go on with whatever is right. Those who evolve over a time, they will get to know, get to understand. Those who do not, leave them to their gossips. That is their destiny, their fate. Then the next page 26, 1857, it says, कर्तव्यतैव संसारो नतां पश्यन्ति सूरयः Shunyakara, Nirakara, Nirvikara, Niramayaha. Beautiful shloka. Again it says, Kartavyata eva. From a mere sense of duty, they are compelled to act because they are instrumenting the divine will. They don't want to do it, but they still do it because it is meant to be done. It is supposed to be done. That's all. Doing it for doing sake, not for their personal sake, not for any other person's sake, not for any rewards or recognition. They act in the samsara, but they are not bound by it. Samsara is also bondage. They do not exist in bondage. They seem to act, but they are not bound by the action. Tam pashyanti suraya. Suraya means the wise illumined ones. They do not see bondage in action. Why? Because they are acting for the acting sake. They are not bound by the action. They are always shunyakara. They are as if in a zero state. Remember, I tell you how progressed you are in the spiritual path, how quickly you can come back to the zero state. Yes, you get angry, but you get back to zero. You get depressed, you get back to the zero. You get excited, you get back to the zero. You get frustrated, you get back to zero. How quickly you come back to the zero state is the measure of your spiritual progress. Earlier weeks you will be lamenting a loss. Now in a couple of hours you are able to get back to the peace, equanimity. That is the measure of your spiritual progress. So he says shunyakara. They are as if in a state of zero. There is no positive, there is no negative. Some people say that will be a boring state, At least we have some life. We are excited about things one day. Then I said, yes, but the other day you will be also upset about things. So it comes as a tide sail, as they say. You want only the excitements of the world, but you don't want the depressions, not possible. So either you have both or you have none. This is the way of the Gyanis. Worldly people, they think that they will only get sweet berries and there will never be a bitter berry on the tree. Not possible. Dvasuparna, Sayuja Sakhaya, the two birds on the tree. Someday it will be sweet berries. Yes, that's the beauty of the world. That is how it entices you. It's like the stock market, which gives you returns in the first few transactions. After that, once you get stuck, you put all the money in, it wipes it all out. Gambling is like that. It's all design. And today's internet is, what I call social media is like that. Initially, it will give you all good stuff. Slowly start one by one putting the bad stuff. Get you addicted and then you can't get out of it. So, samsara is like that. It has duality. One day will be a happy day. Your child will give you a lot of happiness when it is born. You as a father, when you become, you feel so elated. But one day the same child will be the cause of your sorrow too. When he won't listen to you, he'll do his own thing. Are you prepared for that? Yes, then by all means jump into the well. But if you are not, you only want one good part of it and avoid the bad part, not possible. So I tell all of them, if you are entering the world, be ready to accept both. Don't come crying later. Oh, this did not go right, that was not. It will not go right sometimes. If you want the excitements of the day, also be ready for the frustrations. Otherwise, be shunyakara. Neither excitement, not frustrations. Be in the steady state. Call it a boring state. I'm better in this boredom than being in your excitements and depressions every other day. So that is how this shunyakara. They are at peace, they are not disturbed. Nirakara. No forms and names entice them. In a way, they are changeless or formless. Nirvikara, changeless. There is no disturbances in them. Niramaya means healthy. World is a sickness, right? Some kind of bhavaroga we call it, the sickness of the world. You get attached to it, it drags you into itself, becomes an addiction, then you can't get over it. Like coffee. You drink 1 cup, it's okay. Next few months later, 2 cups are not sufficient. The caffeine addiction. So world is addictive. That's why it's called, use Niramaya word. These people are not addicts. They don't fall sick. They don't get infected by the worldly infections of desires and attachments. That is the beauty of these people. Still they act in the world. See, that is another thing. Though they are untouched, unchanged, unaffected, uninfected by the world, they are acting in the world. They are busy. That is what the greatest of Brahman Nishthas from Mundaka Upanishad says. Atma Krida Atmarati Kriyavan Esham Brahmavidam Varishtaha. These people are super active, very busy, but they are not untouched by all this activity. They start the day, finish the day, nothing touches them. End of the day, they are back to zero state. Only during the day, some fluctuations. Because hot water, cold water, pipe. But at the end of the day, when the water is over, pipe is pipe. Untouched, unaffected. At the end of the day, they are same as they started. Zero, back to zero. Can you live like that? If you cannot come back to zero at the end of the day, your meter does not set to zero, but stays somewhere up, fluctuating, then you have ruined your day. You are not a jnani. So measure yourself through your own standards is what I mean. These are the standards. Are you shunyakara? Do you come back to the zero state very quickly? At least by end of the day. 2, are you nirakara? Means nothing of forms attract you or entice you. Everybody is equal to you. It means you are impartial. Nirakara means impartial. You are a beautiful man, I'll give him a job. Ugly looking man, I won't give the job. This fellow looks very cute. That fellow he becomes your pet student, always hanging around you. That fellow comes from a poor family, is not as brilliant, never even look at his face. Forms don't entice you anymore. So nirakara means you're impartial. Nirvikara, nothing disturbs you, nothing agitates you. Yes, some bit of agitation and storm comes, all because of the winds, the waves move. But deep inside, no agitation. And then niramaya, you are unafflicted by the samsara and the desires of the samsara. So that is the Suraya, that is the illumined one, that is the wise one who does all the activities in the world, yet is unaffected, unattached by anything that is going on. Page number 29, 58 shloka. This is also very beautiful shloka. It says, Akurvannapi sankshobhat vyagraha sarvatra mudhadihi kurvannapi tu krityani kushlohi nirakulaha. Which says, Akurvannapi sankshobhat. Even while not doing anything, due to inner agitations, they don't need activity to agitate them. Even if they're not doing so, it's called doing meditation, because of their inner turmoils and their desires and their agitations, Vyagraha Sarvatra Mudadi, this fool Mudadi, Sarvatra everywhere is Vyagraha, is agitated, is aggressive. Even while he is not doing anything, it means they may trying to go to a temple, they may try to do meditation, or withdraw from the activity in search of peace. Go to a cave, go to Himalayas, go to a forest, thinking they'll somehow find peace if they run away from this world and the worldly people and the activities of the world. Still, because their inside is not pure, they struggle to be peaceful. Whereas the opposite is the jnani. Kurvannapi tu krityani kuchlohi nirakulaha. Kurvannapi tu krityani. He, while busy doing activities also, kushalaha means the adept in keeping oneself in that zero state, nirakulaha. He is unaffected, unagitated, not anxious at all. So jnani can be super busy doing all kinds of things in the world, remains unagitated. And Ajnani, even if he runs away to a forest, avoiding all the activity. A lot of people are there. I've seen sometimes this madness is there in the ashram also. Some people, no, I don't want to do any seva. I don't want to go and serve. I don't want to meet people. I want to stay away from all the worldliness. I want to be in my own room, do meditation, do dhyana. I tell them, no, get out and do some seva. Go serve some. No, but that will bring all kinds of thought. I'll see a woman, my desires will increase. I'll see food, I want to eat all of it. I'll see a rich people, I want to become rich. I don't want to see anybody. I want to sit inside the room, they say. Some of them are like that. To them I tell, no, running away from problem is not solving the problem. Dealing with the problem is solving the problem. Of course, while you deal with the problem, you'll make a few mistakes too. When Swami Vivekananda was a young monk in Kashi, monkeys were chasing him. Like here also. How many have you been chased by monkeys? I was chased once. A lot of people. So what do? The more you run, the more they'll chase you. That's what Swami Vivekananda, the young mendicant, was not used to Kashi and the monkeys of Kashi, so he was running. So a mendicant sitting there was laughing at Swami Vivekananda and told, hey boy, don't run, just stand and face the monkeys. They'll run away. So with great courage, he turned around and faced the monkeys. The monkeys got scared and ran away. The problems are not solved by avoiding them. Problems are solved by dealing with them. So these people who think they'll run away to forest and find peace, they'll never find peace because inner agitations are not gone. For temporary peace will come to them. That's why these gurus are becoming very popular. Dime a dozen today. Full YouTubes and Instagrams are full of their wisdom. And what are their techniques? Okay, do breathing exercises. Come for a 10-day retreat. That will cost you 10,000 rupees per day. And then food will be organic, grown in our own backyard through organic means. Clothes will be very stylish, designed by some fashion designer, but all organic linen. And then you will have no phones for the next 10 days and you will be doing this and that and all that stuff. And people find peace. In 10 days they think they got transformed. 11th day, back to square one. You're irritated, angry, unfinished jobs. Where is that peace? 10 days peace. Where did it go? It was not permanent. It was a temporary fix. It was a painkiller. It was not a removal of pain. So people subscribe to such short term ideas where I am not like that. I insist on permanence of whatever you have gained. Should not be lost tomorrow. That's why in the first prayer itself we say, Tejasvinam adhitamastu. Let this knowledge stay with us, not disappear tomorrow. Let it become ours. Let us assimilate it, become one with us. That is the idea. So these people, while not doing also, are never at peace. And the other ones, the jnanis, while doing also, they are fully at peace because they are not the doers. A small Bhagavad Gita shloka to substantiate is on page 30. Buddhi yukto jahatiha ube sukruta duskrute tasmad yogaya yujjasva yogaha karma sukhaushalam. To attain perfection in action is through yoga. And what is that yoga? Buddhi yuktaha. Your intelligence should be right. And you must give up the idea of good, bad, right, wrong, and do it for the doing sake. That action is perfect. So people say, what is perfect action? Singing in a perfect shruti, is it the perfect song? Dancing in perfect rhythm, is it the perfect dance? Building a construction in the perfect architectural way, is it the perfect construction? Teaching a lesson in the perfect pedagogy, is it the perfect teaching? No. Yes, in a way, but no. If it is not done this way, if there is a doership and enjoyership, it is not a perfect action. From worldly point of view, it is perfect. You sang correct, everything was correct. But from godly point of view, it was not perfect because you felt doership. That's why I said doer, doing, and the done all should become one. The knowledge, knower, and the known should become one. Then it is perfect. Otherwise, high quality singing without having reached that state of egolessness is a waste. It doesn't touch God. It may please the audience and impress them, and you will sell a few more tickets and get maybe a Padma Shri or two. But that does not qualify you to be a perfect singer. A perfect singer is the one who has merged himself or herself in that singing so much so there is no doership, there is no ego, there is no separate existence. You lose yourself in that doing. That kind of doing alone is perfect according to Bhagavad Gita. 33, page number 18.59, which says, Sukhamaste sukham shete sukhamayati yati cha sukham vakti sukham bhunkte vyavharepi shantadi. See, at the end, what is the phalashruti? What is the goal of all these activities? Sukham. Happiness is the goal, ultimate happiness, pure happiness, not which comes and goes. Sloka number 1859, which says, Sukhamaste sukham shete. When they're sitting, they're happy. Sukham shete. When they're lying down also, they're happy. Sukham ayati aticha. When they come and go, they're happy. Then Sukham Vakti, Sukham Bhunkte. When they are speaking also, they speak happily. Sukham Bhunkte. When they eat also, they eat happily. Vyavharepi Shantidi. In all behavior, they are happy. In all worldly dealings. Vyavhara means worldly activities, they are happy. Why? Because Shantadi, their inside is peaceful. Who is not happy? Who is biting everybody, barking at everybody? Who is not peaceful inside? The one who is peaceful inside will never be bad to anybody. Even if others are bad, he will only give happiness to others. That is the idea of these jnanis. There are always so much peace within that they cannot be disturbed. They're like a mountain, a strong mountain of peace, cannot be shaken. So in whatever they do, they're always happy. Happiness is union with God, is what Bhagavan used to say. When your mind is merged in the divine, you are no more your individual self. Everything you do it from the divine point of view. Happiness is yours all the time. Not like Monday you are happy, Tuesday you are sad. Every single moment of your life, in every little activity, you enjoy it, you are happy. You are eating something, you enjoy that. How many people enjoy while eating? Enjoy eating is one thing. Enjoy while eating, I am saying. Enjoy eating, everybody enjoys. Give as much, they'll eat. Enjoy while eating means you are in a state of happiness irrespective of the food. It's not the pizzas that makes you excited. Even if the curd rice is there, you're happy, you're eating curd rice or it's pizza, you really don't realize. That is what I'm talking. Now you tell me how many are happy while eating. Curd rice, pizza, everything is okay for you. Only curd rice for him, take his name and class. Some are imaginary jnanis here. Give him 10 days continuous curd rice. Let me see he's enjoying while eating. idea is that external things are not the reason for their inner happiness. Their inner happiness is emerging from a source that is so very personal, because their mind is at peace. So anything comes, it's okay. That's why even when he also knows, I also know, when Bhagavan we used to watch, when he's in good mood, everything is tatastu. Ask anything, everything is okay. When he's not in good mood, better not go. Even the best thing will all get rejected. So same thing they do with me. They look at me. Oh, I have very happy mood today. Then they will ask me for things. That whatever needs to get passed and approved and all, get it done. That most of the women do that to their husbands. Husbands do that to their wives. Check on their mood and then ask questions. But these people are always happy, in the sense they're always at peace in the inside. Outside they may also be very strict and rigid and whatever disciplinarians, but inside they're very, very happy. But some people imagine that they have already become jnani because they have mugged up a few shlokas of the Ashtavakra Gita. And now they want to give gyan to everybody. Catch people and give gyan. This is what I am. I have realized the self. Why? Because I know this shloka. That doesn't make you realize the self. But Swami said, we are all God, Aham Brahmasmi. Yes, but have you realized it is the question? Theoretically, yes, you are all gods. But do you really mean it? Do you feel it? Do you experience it? No, then you are not yet God in the real sense. There was a kingdom where everybody said, we are Brahmagyanis. So a real Brahmagyani came into the kingdom, and he said, what is this kingdom about? He said, this is the kingdom of Brahmagyanis. Everybody is a Brahmagyani. So he checked, but people were very worldly, they were desirous, but pretentious, acting like they're all Brahmagyani. Vibhuti, white dress, nice sari, Sai Ram, Sai Ram. All are devotees. Then this Brahmagyani, what did he do? The king fell sick. So there was no cure for the king. So he told, I have the ability to cure the king. Take me to the king. So one of the ministers took him to the king. Then he looked at the king, diagnosed him and said, oh, you have got a very incurable disease, but there is only one cure for it. What is the cure? Half a pound flesh from any Brahmagyani is enough. I'll make a medicine out of that half pound flesh and give it to you, you'll be cured. King said, that's not a problem. In my kingdom, everybody is Brahmagyani. Catch anybody and take flesh. The moment this was announced, everybody said, no, I am not a Brahmagyani. No, not me. Who said I am a Brahmagyani? Till yesterday, everybody was Brahmagyani. But today, when they make sacrifice, we are not Brahmagyanis. Don't ask us. So this is how it is. Sometimes we just imagine, we read up a few shlokas and we can rattle it out in one breath. We start thinking we have become Brahmagyanis. The next is 1860, which says, page number 36, which says, Swabhavadyasya naivartihi lokavyad vyavharinaha mahahrida ivakshobhyo gata kleshah sashobhate. Beautiful shloka, which also says, Swabhavadyasya naiva arti. Even though by nature he is moving around in the world doing whatever loka vyavhara he is doing. He is also a businessman, he is also a trader, he is also a teacher, doctor, whatever. Loka vyavharat. In the world he is going around doing things and looks like other person only, doesn't look very different. They don't have an aura or a halo around them. They just appear like other normal beings doing their whole thing. And by their nature, whatever is given to them, they are doing. There is no suffering in their doing. Why am I doing? Why am I being told to do a worldly thing? I am a Brahmagyani. Those ideas don't exist. Whatever Yadayut Kartum Ayati said, whatever comes they do while engaging in the world. Maharuda. They are like Maharuda. Maharuda here has been interpreted as a big lake, but to me a big hearted one. Hrudi means heart. Also a lake. Like a huge lake. Whatever water goes into the lake, it doesn't disturb the lake. It is so huge. I saw some great lakes. Have you heard about the 5 Great Lakes? They look like oceans to me. This time I was there in Chicago. I went to the lake there, Michigan, and I saw it's so huge. It looks like an ocean by itself. If you add a few buckets of water to it, it is not going to get disturbed. If you take a few buckets out of it, it is not going to get disturbed. That's how Gyanis are. They're so complete in their joy and peace. A little disturbance here and there does not affect them. They can go around doing the thing that is needed just like ordinary people. That's why when Narasimhaji was telling a story, what were you doing before you became Brahmagyani? I was cutting wood and Drawing water. What are you doing after you became a Brahmagyani? I am cutting wood and drawing water. What has changed? The attitude has changed. The doership, enjoyership has disappeared. So I am always constantly in peace and always happy, even while they're engaged in the world. See, the idea of knowledge is not running away from the actions. When I was in Greece, somebody connected me to another very large foundation, and the head of that foundation or that businessman came on the phone and he asked me, "So, what do you teach? Yoga, Ayurveda?" Because Indian guru means that is how the world thinks of them, right? They're here to teach meditation, some yoga, some Ayurvedic ways of life, all that. I said, "No, I don't teach any of these things." So he was very perplexed. "So what is that you do?" he asked. I said, "I teach service, I teach love, I build institutions which are running for free." He was kind of taken aback because he didn't expect that as an answer. Generally, the idea of jnanis and yogis is what? They'll be only teaching you yoga, sit, meditate, kundalini, hatha yoga, kriya yoga. All are jnanis, I'm not saying they're not. But the Ashtavakra Jnani is how? Ashtavakra Jnani is busy in the world, doing the activities of the world, just like anybody else, not running away from the actions, and yet not getting attached to anything. That's why every day I wake up and ask myself only one question: am I ready to drop this all like a hot potato if it comes to that? Am I ready to just walk out of this place without looking back? If I am ready even today, let me go and do today's work. The day I feel, no, no, I am attached, if all this is taken away, what is my identity? Where will I go? Where is my security? Where is my safety? Where is my future? Where is my even livelihood? Then I should not be here. I should not be here. There's a story in Ujjain of Simhasan Battisi. I don't know. Many people, when we were kids, because we are from Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, the king Vikramaditya was known as a very great king, like Janaka. He was a great, great king. And he wanted to, his descendant wanted to climb the throne on which he used to sit, Vikramaditya. The throne was decorated with 32 statues. So it's called Simhasana. Battisi means 32. So these stories are a compilation of 32 stories about that throne. This throne was gifted by Lord Indra himself to Vikramaditya because Vikramaditya was such a great king. When his descendant tried to climb the throne, the statue would come alive, one statue at a time, and will stop them from climbing and say, "First, you answer this question: are you as great as King Vikramaditya to come and sit on this throne? If yes, then you are allowed to sit. Otherwise, we won't allow. The statues would stop them." It's like 32 stories are there. Every time the question was of a moral dilemma, of a king's duty towards his subject, about personal sacrifices. So very, very interesting treatise on kingship, Raja Dharma. All 32 stories are amazing. I know if you have a book, please do look into that. So the question was asked every single time the new king tried to sit on the throne. And if he answered is right, then he will try to climb. Next statue will come and ask the next question. So 32 questions are only when he answered all of that he could sit. Every day I go to this throne which I am sitting on. I ask this only one question, not 32 questions. Do I have the ability to drop it off just like that today and walk away? Or will I be afraid? Will I be attached? Will I suffer? Will I be fearful? Will I be frustrated? Will I be angry? Will I be anxious? And if the answer every time is no, no problem, you can just drop it and walk away. I come and sit on this chair. Otherwise, I won't sit on this chair. So I do not know in future what's going to happen. But if ever anybody else is going to sit on this throne or chair, one question they must ask themselves is only this: are they attached or not attached? All the responsibility is okay. I understand everything depends on my being here at this point in time. But I'm also indispensable. I'm not indispensable in the bigger scheme of things. God has His own plan. Nobody is permanent. Nobody. So that clarity one should have while working in the world. That it is only for so much time. It has its own limitations. This is not forever. And while you are there, do your best. Whatever is given to you, make good use of it. Do good for everybody. But at the end of it, be ready to walk away without having to look back also. If you look back, it means there is some attachment. I generally don't quote him too often, but this is Osho. And Osho has his own humorous wisdom, while there are so many other things around him. But this one thing, no, so take Jati na pucho sadhu ki, puch lijiye gyan dese. Don't ask about the other things about a sadhu. Take the wisdom and forget the rest. So I take the wisdom. And the wisdom was, some journalist asked Osho, today you are there, all these wonderful things are happening, you set up this whole thing. But tomorrow when you are not there, what will happen to all these people? What will happen to this mission? What will happen to this organization? Osho's answer is, when I am not there tomorrow for them, they are also not there for me. So I am not bothered. When I don't exist, they also don't exist for me. So how does it matter? He says. You may think it's a very funny answer, but deeply think about it. Now he is responsible only as long as he is responsible for people. When he himself is not there, where is the responsibility of others? That is the idea, very clear. When I am not there for the world is also not there for me. So it doesn't matter, he said. It will take care of itself. Whatever needs to happen will happen. That clarity, that detachment is that of a jnani. And as I said, every day you must ask, I'm going to the office, am I attached to my work? Tomorrow if I don't have this work, Swami says shift out of it, go somewhere else, do something else. Am I okay, or I will cry tears of blood? No, I did so much, I have protected it, I have built this, I have developed this. Now how can you suddenly halfway through? Nothing like that. You say, okay, done, drop, walk away. And that is how you know whether you are getting into jnana or you are still an ajnani. Sloka substantiating it is on 38th page from Bhagavad Gita, which says, Dukheshu advigna manaha, Sukheshu vigatat sprahaha, Vitaraga bhayakrodha, Stitadhi muni uchyate. They are called steady-minded people, Stitadhi or Sitaprajna. Who are those? They are not disturbed in sorrow, they are not excited in joys. They are free from attachment, raga, bhaya, fear, krodha, anger, and sthitadhihi. They are steady-minded, they are muni, they are the true sages. That's from Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter. It's a cross-reference. The last sloka for today I'll take up. It says, Nivritterapi mudhasya pravritti rupa jayate, pravrittirapi dhirasya nivritti phaladayini. See the play of opposites in this word. Nivritti is the inward path. Pravritti is the outward path. Means engaging in the world and worldly activities is called as pravritti marga. Nivritti marga is known as path of spirituality, or turning the gaze inwards, turning the mind inwards. So these are two paths. Now what it says, shloka, nivritterapi mudhasya pravritti rupa jayate. When these fools who think they are jnanis, they try to take to the inward path also, they end up with the outward only. Their renunciation is fake. They are not truly renounced. There is attachment. They only act as if they are renounced. So even if they do try to become inwardly, their desires are so many, attachments are so many, that their mind is always going outwards. Whereas pravrittirapi dhirasya, the discriminating one, even if they are in the outward path, in the sense they are building hospitals, schools, colleges, working in the society, nivritti phaladayini, their ultimate fruit is of nivritti, of withdrawal only. So those who are not jnanis, even they try to meditate and run away to caves or avoid work, whatever they try, they are still attached to the world. Like that Swamiji was attached to his kamandalu, He was going to take a bath in the river and his kamandalu was there. So he thought nobody should steal my kamandalu, so he covered it with some sand and that became like a shivlinga, you see. And then this man went to take bath. Some people who are watching, they thought, oh, this is a ritual. Before you go to take bath, you have to make a shivlinga out of sand. The amount of foolish orthodoxy. Then superstition. So they all people after pilgrims who came to take bath, they all made the sand shivlinga around it. And they also went for bath. So when Swamiji finished bath, he came and saw there are so many shivlingas. Under which of these is his kamandalu, the water pot? He doesn't know. So he was so upset. Nowadays, I don't know, some Shivlinga has appeared in a fridge or something, everybody is worshipping, I believe, in UP. So foolish orthodoxy is what I'm saying. Okay, yeah, if you're deeply spiritual, you see Shivlinga in everything, that's a different matter. But attachment. A sannyasi can be attached to his water pot. Somebody will steal it, so let me hide it. So you never know where the attachment comes from. Little things can bind you, whether it's a golden chain or a whatever chain, iron chain. Chain is a chain, bondage is a bondage. As a sannyasi also you are bound if you are attached with anything, including your matha, your ashrama, your seat, your followers, your reputation, your all popularity. You are bound. When you don't care about any of these things, that's when you're unbound. Even if you're super busy in the world, you are totally unbound by any of these things. 1862, page number 42. It says, Parigraheshu vairagyam prayo mudhasya drishyate dehe vigalitasasya kva ragah kva viragata. Again, a beautiful idea which says, Parigraheshu vairagyam prayo mudhasya drishyate. The ignorant are often seen trying to renounce the external possession. They'll make a big fuss and drama out of it. I am giving up my family, I'm taking sannyasa. I am giving up my home to charity. All my investments are giving up to an orphanage. All my gold I am giving to Kanyadanam. And I am becoming a sannyasi. Such drama is not needed, is what he's saying. Only these people who are not really ready, they do all these things. Others will quietly renounce things. They don't need to make a show of things. That is the idea. That parigraheshu vairagyam, when you are giving away things also, renouncing things also, and trying to show as vairagya, all that you have this, they are only fools who generally do these things, trying to renounce things. What does the other one do? The dehe vigalitashasya, even while in the body, this one who has no desire, Vigalita, his desires have melted away, Ashaha. All the desires have melted away. What happens to that? For such a person, where is raga, that is attachment? Where is viragata, unattachment to things or detachment from things? Things are as they are. He doesn't have to exquisitely, overtly go and renounce things to attain God. Even if things are around, he will attain God. See, Yukteswar Giri Maharaj, this Guruji of Paramahamsa Yogananda. So his name was Mukunda, he was a young boy. And then he was very keen that he attains moksha and all that. So he ran away from his home because Yukteswar Giri Maharaj was not giving him any wisdom. He was simply making him do odd chores. So he ran away to one more person he heard about called Ram Babu Majumdar near Tarakeshwar. So from Calcutta he ran away to Tarakeshwar on the village side, thinking that that man is a jnani, he will teach me how to attain Brahma Jnana. So he, without telling his guru or his family, he ran away and went there. Whole night he traveled, somehow he reached the other day. And that Rambabu Mazumdar had no ashram, no mata, no followers, no ochre robes, nothing. Because he had not seen him, he had only heard about him, that he's a jnani. He was very surprised. He said, how will I learn wisdom from him? Anyway, when he comes in the evening, Rambabu Mazumdar makes him a small meal and tells him, you eat this meal, and asks him, why did you come? He says, I come for Brahmagyan, but my guru is Yukteswar Giri Maharaj. So then you should go to him only. Why you have come here, he says. He said, no, he's not taught me anything. Then he says, you don't need to go anywhere to learn this. You don't need to give up anything to learn it. Your guru knows when is the right time. He's just waiting for your readiness. That is why you wait. You don't have to run away and come to me, and I will not do it any better than your guru. So the idea is that Rambabu Majumdar, being an ordinary farmer, was also a jnani. But he was not having a mata and a samsa, all this drama around him. Not there was a need to give up his daily chores or whatever he was doing to attain wisdom. None of this is necessary. See, so much time we get stuck in the drama of things. I've seen a lot of people. Oh, we are going to meditate now. Get first, where is the mat? Where is the mat? Where is the mat? My meditation mat. No, this mat will do. No, not this mat, that mat in which I sit and meditate. Then what else you require? Oh, where is that incense stick? Where is that photo? Where are the flowers? No, not these flowers. I want those flowers. Then switch off the light, put the music on, and do this, do that. All the paraphernalia, they sit and sleep off after that. Lot of people have seen this drama buzz, I call them. When you are really serious, no, this helps. I'm not saying it does not help. But this is not all of it. This external drama is too much sometimes. The internal purity is what takes you there. Then bhogarato va yogarato. You might be in between. As I said, you can be a Guruji in an ashram, or you could be a businessman in Bangalore. It doesn't matter. You could be a householder, you could be a monk or renunciate. It doesn't matter. Because inside is pure, so you are jnani. It doesn't matter whether you have followers and you have an ashram or not. I had thought I'll close it with a nice poem from Rabindranath Tagore. This poem really touches me. Those who have not read Rabindranath Tagore, you have missed something in life. Please read Gitanjali if nothing else. He has a huge number of writings. But read Gitanjali, a collection of his poems, which got him the Nobel Prize for Literature. And this is the 13th poem in Gitanjali, just to tell about this drama that goes on about reaching God. The song that I came to sing remains unsung to this day. I have spent my days in stringing and in unstringing my instrument. The time has not come true. The words have not been rightly set. Only there is the agony of wishing in my heart. The blossom has not opened. Only the wind is sighing by. I have not seen his face, nor have I listened to his voice. Only I have heard his gentle footsteps from the road before my house. The livelong day has passed in spreading his seat on the floor, but the lamp has not been lit, and I cannot ask him into my house. I live in the hope of meeting with him, but his meeting is not yet. The beauty of this poem is just to explain what I understand. Everybody can understand differently. Here is a seeker who has come to seek God but hasn't found God yet. Why? Because his preparations are incomplete, he thinks. What are the preparations? He has come to sing the song. But he has spent the whole day in just stringing and unstringing his instrument, tuning his instrument, setting the lyrics, finding the melody. And the time to sing the song has passed. He never sang the song, only busy doing all these paraphernalia. The blossom never opened and the wind passed by. What else happened? He came by my doorstep. I heard his footsteps, but I just spread his mat. I did not light the lamp by the time he left. One way of looking at it is that I was not ready for it. The other way looking at it, I was becoming too ready for it. Sometimes you have to just be yourself. God doesn't need all this drama. Sometimes just be yourself, just be honest, just be sincere, and you will find the truth. Sometimes all these external things make us very happy. That's why I'm very against, and Bhagwan also was. If anybody tries to do this drama in front of him, put a Rudrakshamala, shave a head, and he'll tell him go back and change and come. That's how he was. Because he said all this is external. Maybe it helps. Those who have taken to this path, they have certain way of doing things, fine. It helps you, it's okay. These are all support systems. But this is not the end of it all. Don't get lost in these lanes and by lanes of the market. Go buy what you need and get back home before it is dusk. So that idea, that your focus, that's why I said your preparedness is more important than my wisdom. Because wisdom has been there in these books and so many other Gyanis have given. I can't do something greatly different. But how does it happen to you? You are ready. And don't waste too much time in this drama. Somebody wrote to me also, I don't know how to chant Rudram, I make mistakes. I said, how does it matter? At your age, forget about it. Even you pour water on the Shivlinga and say Om Namah Shivaya, it's good enough. Why you are stressing yourself up at this age trying to learn Rudram and trying to do all the rituals? Not necessary. But sometimes it becomes so ritualistic that it becomes simple. That's why he said, I have spread the mat, I have not lit the lamp. How can I invite him home? Or even if you don't have a mat and a lamp, invite him home because he's right at the doorstep. Open the door. Other than opening the door, you have done everything else. This is where we get lost. Sometimes Bhagwan used to say, people are so busy doing my work that they have no time for me. They talk about, we are only serving you, we are busy doing, but we have no time for God. That work was not for God, that was for your own ego. You called it for God. And I've seen a lot of this drama around. Not that I'm saying that they're all wrong or right. It helps to some extent, yes. You should have a place where you can meditate. You should have a way to meditate. There should be a process. Even Bhagavad Gita says how to meditate and all that stuff. Perfect. But that cannot become your limitation. That cannot become all of it. And you lose the real crux of the whole matter, that you are actually here to meditate, not to set up the mat and the lamp and the incense and the flowers and the photo. You are here to meditate. So without that also you should meditate. And I tried it today, as I said, when the loudspeaker started playing some song. First reaction was, oh my God, I came out from outside to inside just to avoid noise so that I can focus on this Ashtavakra Gita, and here starts another song. But then I first thought I'll close all the windows and all that stuff. Then I remembered, Ramakrishna said, meditate on the siren of the factory. So I just put some mind, just took few seconds. Then it became a part of me. Then I continue. See, that is the idea. But too much drama is not necessary in thing. Be who you are as you are, but your focus, your mind should be on God. Body be anywhere. Mind should be on God. That is the whole concept of Ashtavakra. That's why I love Ashtavakra compared to all other yoga textbooks and things like that. Yes, but it won't happen. All this wisdom will not come to you unless you have followed those basic disciplines of the other yogas. When I came here first time, Bhagavan used to tell, this is a university. This is not a primary school where drama will happen. Miracle one day, some excitement another day, some another story another day. No, this is university. It's for serious seekers. Many people ridicule these speeches saying, so you mean to say all that he did in the past was all child's play? Was it all for kids? They were not mature spiritually? I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying this is a university. This is where the highest wisdom will be taught, and you have to come prepared. You should have passed the school and the high school and the pre-university to come to university. Otherwise, you will not understand whatever I am teaching. And what is the pre-university and school and colleges? Yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana. All these things are the prerequisites to understand what I'm saying. If you're not pure in mind, if you're not disciplined in your habits, if you don't have any structure and system in your life, if you don't have detachment and desirelessness in your head, Ashtavakra theory is not going to take you too far. Only practicals will take you far. We have heard 100 days of Ashtavakra. By now, everybody should have been a Brahmagyani in the true sense, living that idea. But if you didn't get it, not my fault is what I would say now. At least I'll be free of unnecessary burden. So please be attentive. We are not doing it just as a joke or just learning another scripture. It's very exciting. You all came with a great enthusiasm, I know, this morning. Everybody was looking forward to it. But I am looking forward to it more than you, only if you are practicing it. Are you becoming desireless by the day? Are you becoming fearless by the day? Are you becoming detached by the day? Are you able to deal with ridicules and mockery of people, kith and kin, even your own children and wives, when you take to this path? Are you still being steady? And are you free from the drama that most of the other put up, losing the essence at the end? Ask yourself these questions. How quickly you are going back to zero state?